Hello, welcome to another week and a lot I'm going to be going over this week. This video is going to be covering the energy update and galactic channeling for the next 7 days, starting with today, April 22nd, until the 28th. So, wow, I was kind of just taking a moment to feel into the different energies that are coming and, you know, what direction I wanted to take and what I wanted to share today in this week coming up. And there's definitely some things I want to talk about. I know I don't always kind of go into the aspects, but I feel like I'm definitely going to cover a couple things for the week ahead. And then I will go into my galactic channeling. If this is your first time seeing one of my videos, welcome. My name is Cassandra Deanne. I am a certified galactic astrologer, and I am also certified in human design and a Akashic Records reader and a galactic channeler. So here we are. I hope that everyone had a good week last week. And I would be curious of any notes anybody wanted to share of anything that might have came up for you. I know there was a light language activation shared, and the message talked a lot about bringing in your tribe, finding those people that you are connecting with and collaborating with. And so this week, there's a couple things I want to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about, and pretty much the meat of what I want to talk about, is going to be the Mars and Pluto opposition that will be taking place on the 26th, or Saturday of this week. And, this is significant just because this doesn't happen that often. This is actually the third time this has happened since I think it's like November 2024, but this is the last of this series of engagement, you could say, between these two planets. And the reason why it's important is anytime we have anything in opposition, it's you have two different forces or two different energies in which there can be a tug of war between, but really it's I feel this is really about learning to balance these energies and these energies to understand one another and come together, meet in the middle. That said, though, when we're talking about Pluto, because Pluto's ultimate goal is our individual power. A lot of times, if it's Pluto against something else, like there's definitely a lot of weight that is put forth on to Pluto. So with this, there's, I want to kind of talk a little bit about what this opposition is. And I'm going to kind of approach this at first. Let's just look at it from a astrology perspective. So astrology, when you look at your natal astrology chart, whatever houses these energies are, which are going to be in the early degrees, so you're looking at around 3 degrees of Leo and around 3 degrees, 3 to 4 degrees for both of these, of Aquarius. So when we look at these energies in general, generally speaking, you could say that Leo is normally ruled by the sun. This is a lot of heart energy. What is it I want? What is it I'm doing? What is it that would, light me up, fulfill me? Normally, Leo in the astrology wheel rules the 5th house. So here there's a lot of energy also that's added to what makes me unique, what makes me special, what makes me stand apart from someone else. There's an energy in which Leo wants to be recognized or seen or noticed for its contributions. It wants to not feel like it's one among the crowd. And then you have Aquarius energy, which Aquarius can have an energy in which it is more technical, more of a scientific mind can apply this. There's a lot more humanitarian qualities energies, such as, okay, what is best for the whole? Let's think of the bigger picture. How is this impacting the collective? How is this making all of our lives easier? So with these energies here, there may be a reflection, depending on where it is in your chart, in which you're looking at a contrast between either what your heart's pull is, the difference you want to make would be another, how you want to get noticed, and also balancing that within the collective and feeling like, okay, I want this thing, but how is this impacting others around me? I want to experience this thing, but is this adding to my community, and keeping the harmony and the balance with that. Now, if we take it a step further, this is where I like to pull in human design, because I feel like it adds nuances to this energy that can kind of give us more food for thought, if you will. And so if you don't know much about human design, that's okay. Don't worry too much about it. I'm going to lightly, like in other videos, mention the gate number just in case you do want to do your own research, but just tune in listening to the energy in which I'm sharing, and it will provide a lot of clarity on what I'm talking about. Okay. So with this energy here, Mars, which when we're talking about Mars in astrology, this can have an energy of a driving force, something that's pushing us forward. It can also be an immature energy or a young energy. Not always. It can just be, it can have like a warrior like essence about it. I know a lot of people will speak, you know, of Mars a certain way, but I kind of look at Mars as like a fuel in some regard. So we have Mars is in Leo, and this is going to be into gate 31, which is all about influence. Now, the energy of this gate is, I want to make a difference. I want to help out. I want to be a part of the team. But the balance with this energy is understanding that it doesn't come from force. It doesn't come from, saying this is what you need to do. This is the instructions, where, like, for example, sometimes the opposite energy of that in the human design scope on the other side of that channel, which is 7, can be more, it's called the army leader. It can be more direct, where this is a energy in which you can look at it as a more yin quality that can say, okay, I hear your problem. I'm listening, and I'm going to give you guidance on how, you can kind of get the results you want. You can see the effects you want, but you're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to do the things for yourself. And so it kind of has that a softer quality about it. So here already we can see this gate associated in the terms with Leo, where we are considering our influence, how we are seen, but also with the collective. So the narrative is already kind of creating itself. Okay. Then when we look at Pluto, this is going to be in Aquarius. Now, when we look at Pluto, I mentioned this is a lot of transformation that comes from Pluto is for personal power. It wants you to feel like you kind of like claim your ground, that you feel like a sense of personal strength. There also, because of this, Pluto brings a lot of themes of death, rebirth, transformation. It wants you to kind of work through your shadows and come out on the other side victorious. And so this energy is in 41, gate 41. Now, this can have an energy of limitation, but also imagination to it. It's a really neat gate. Basically, this energy is one of the most creative uh, forces, one of the most creative forces in the different archetypes of these gates, because basically this energy is one that says, okay, here's your situation, here's the limitation, here's, where you're at, but how can you creatively come up with other solutions? How can you move forward to have the experiences you want, to have, those expectations met and feel lit up and excited? So there's a lot of creativity with this. So here you can see these two energies, in which Leo is like, I want to make a difference. I want to think about Aquarius. I want to think about the community. I want these things. But yet at the same time, what are the ways in which we feel like we succumb to our limitations, or feeling like we're kind of being trapped or held, or don't see ways out? Because the 41 says, okay, but feel into it, because chances are there's inspiration. There's things on the other side. There's always a way through. And so when you are, you think of that journey and feeling like, how am I going to get through this? A lot of you are in situations where you might be saying to yourself, how am I going to get through this? Like, this feels impossible. But this energy is inviting us to stop the old stories, stop the old narratives, stop the old programming. Think differently. Use your imagination. How can you look at it from a different perspective? How can you turn it to a different angle? And then these two energies together make it that much more fun to look at. What is it you're overcoming? Like, because you're not alone. How does that inspire someone else? How is it that maybe you're the one taking that first leap and doing something that's a little out there? Aquarius is the rebel. In what ways can you embody that rebellion? That, yeah, you can tell me that's the structure. You can tell me that's society's way of doing things. You can tell me this, but I'm going to find another way. I'm going to use my imagination. I'm going to take this limitation and I'm going to turn it into something completely magnificent. And wow, what impact that has on the world. Now, where this gets even more interesting is then on the 27th, we have the new moon in Taurus. And this energy is in gate 24 in human design. And this is called returning. So this energy basically talks a lot about what are the repetitive cycles in which you say, there's, I do this, it's going to be this. I do this, it's going to be this. I do this, it's going to be this. Also, it's over analyzing things. Like, I can't, what ways are you kind of, either controlling the situation or feeling hesitant to experience something new or explore something new because it feels unfamiliar. Also, there's an energy of this that says, if you're chasing your tail, trying to figure it out and force that, the clarity isn't going to come. And that clarity can often come when you kind of relax into the situation. You allow things to more naturally unfold, and this has the ability in which you can take things and kind of take them further, come up with new ways of doing, new ways of inspiring, new forward motion through doing things a different way. And I'm looking at my notes here. Yeah, with this, the other thing is, a shadow of this energy can be avoidance. Once again, like I said, avoid, I'm not wanting to go there because it feels it's different. The returning, the circling, it's like you keep repeating, where we're meant to kind of step outside of that. move past that, allow new energy to come in. And considering this is the new moon, new beginnings, this is an invitation for us to start thinking differently, behaving differently, and stepping out of those familiar structures, limitations, boundaries, systems, whatever you want to call them, that you've put on yourself. And then furthermore, we consider this Taurus energy. One of the beautiful gifts of Taurus is like there is this longevity of it. It's like I see Taurus energy as slowing down and putting the necessary work in that's going to get you the results that you want to manifest or that you want to feel in your life, but it's like you have to have that, embrace that willingness, that rebellion, that Aquarian energy, Pluto, that's like coming into thinking differently, trying something different, moving into different energy. This is also in galactic astrology connected to the star Altair. And with this energy, it's so funny how the dots connect. This energy also is one that is very much connected with the eagle and this masculine energy of sovereignty and divine quality, in which there is this star and star seeds connected to Altair. They have a desire to explore things a different way. They want to look at it from different angles for the purpose of getting the breakthrough, moving through, making some sort of advancement. So when we have this Mars-Pluto opposition, we actually have Pluto conjunct this and Mars opposing this. So to me, I take this as, it's supporting Pluto. Once again, like I said, Pluto in the personal power comes, so it's supporting Pluto. It's saying, yes, hold on to that. Be imaginative, explore different ways, because that's how you're going to get to the influence. That's going to be how you're going to get through the breakthrough. Okay. That was a lot more this week. Yeah, yeah, I'm looking through my notes. Yeah, I'm good. That was, whew, I feel like I need to take a breath now. I'm going to have to really ground in before channeling, because I feel all amped up with I like the number stuff. I like the degrees and all that good stuff. So, all right. Ooh, there we go. Last week, my lighter didn't want to light. So now I'm going to kind of go into the channeling. I'm just going to kind of ground that energy. I feel like I was talking a mile a minute. Awesome. So if this is your first time experiencing this sort of thing while you're watching my video, when I channel, my strongest gift is clairaudience. So when I'm talking, I tend to kind of like go back and forth as I'm hearing things. I will say I'm getting closer and closer to coming out to sharing my experiences with trance channeling. I find that it'll probably be a lot easier than the back and forth that I experience while I'm channeling this way, and it feels like there's a lot of back and forth. So I just invite you to kind of take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Like I said, I am a galactic channel, so different energies come through. Last week we had some avian energy that was really different and new and neat. So I'm going to close my eyes and kind of breathe in, ground a little bit, and I invite you to do the same. I know I've shared this before. Oh, we don't take enough pauses. Although it is Taurus season, so we're probably going to be forced into it. And there are probably Tauruses that are like, I have no problem pausing. We can all embrace that energy in the next, few weeks to come. So just breathe in. If you're in a position, you can close your eyes. Just letting the weight of the week just melt off you a little bit. I just invite you to feel supported right where you are right now, just in this moment, feeling everything's going to be fine. One way or another, everything is happening in accordance to my highest good. Just resting into your body, allowing your shoulders to relax. I'm just going to call in, ask that the angels are with me this week. I love calling upon Archangel Michael to guide, protect. He works with me a lot. Just ask that any high vibrational beings of love and light that would like to share any guidance regarding what we have in store for the week ahead. I feel an energy coming through. I'm just kind of tuning in deeper. I feel the Andromedans. I feel like their energy is coming through. I'm hearing them saying that they are people too that appreciate seeing different ways, different patterns, different options. This is uncomfortable for many, as we have been operating from a place of almost, what I'm feeling they're saying is almost a place of just methodical. This is what I do. This is what I do. This is what I do. And unfortunately, a lot of times, the way to break this pattern, once again, as I'm doing this with my hand, I'm feeling the energy and I'm feeling that that gate 24 that I talked about with the new moon, the returning, and what I'm hearing from them is they say, you might not like it, but one of the best, most efficient ways to kind of break that cycle, especially when you need to get forward motion, is through disruption. So breathe in this week into the areas in which you feel disruption. I feel like that this could come through a number of different means. This could be through frustration with technology. This could be with emotional experiences with others. This could be with a underlining agitation that you may feel, which I'm hearing is a call to really notice and feel in. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? Like, what is this feeling? And see what comes up for you, that we can get so locked in to our patterns, our behaviors, that you might not like it. You might not like the disruption. It might not feel good. It probably won't. But it's through that contrast that, and sometimes I feel like, gosh, I don't love this. Oh, I feel like there's quite a few people that I feel like you're going through circumstances where you feel, okay, I'm hearing that limitation, like the energy I talked about with Pluto. You're feeling like what always worked isn't working. And it feels like you have to sort of reinvent the wheel. And then on top of that, you feel like you're making this crazy concoction that people around you are looking at you like, what is that? But yet, that's where you are and you're supposed to be there, and that those energies are what is going to help contribute. I just spilled water everywhere. Is what's going to help contribute to the energy in which you give me a second here to just readjust. Here we are live. Oh my gosh. I just heard my guide say disruption. It's like literally playing out. It's like, okay, so let me just give a moment here to just honor this space that I'm in with this disruption, to not get my equipment to go bad. Get a little creative here. It was a full cup of water, just in case you were curious. Full cup of water. All right, here we go. Wow, that's new. I mean, you have to laugh at it, right? Because what else are you going to do? You know, what else are you going to do? So it's this week. What comes up? What is the disruption? What is the thing? Maybe it's spilling a whole entire cup of water on yourself while you're doing a live on YouTube. Um, but what is the thing that kind of is forcing you to think differently, behave differently, act differently? Like, think of, okay, like this example. I feel like I'm like a living example right now. It's like, okay, what would I normally do? You know, how would I normally solve this? Well, here I am on a live. I'm like, okay, I guess I could do what I normally do, you know, I guess. But, you know, I was like, I'll figure out a way to like take care of this water without damaging my equipment, and I'll go with the flow. And, you know, I could freak out. And, you know, I did get some on my legs, which is a little bit cold, but it's like, resting into it's okay. It's okay. You're going to get through this. You're going to move beyond this. You're going to be able to come out on the other side. You may feel like your hands are tied. You may feel like you're running out of options. And what I feel like the challenging part of this is, it can be easy. I'm feeling into their energy because I've mentioned with the Arcturians, one of the things in which is a quality of them is that they are very much concerned with, or invested, maybe that's a better word I'm feeling, very curious and invested into the human's emotional experience. And what I feel like is coming through is that they're saying there are moments in which, when you're going through these experiences, that it may feel natural for you to say, I'm not supported. I'm out of alignment. I'm doing it wrong. Like, I'm not meant to do this. I'll go back to the old ways, you know. And it's hard because I feel like that is when you're at that point, it's like a rubber band when you stretch it. When you're at that point of the stretch, you're almost there because it's not going to break. Even though it feels like you're being stretched beyond where you want to go, you're not going to break. It's just around the corner. Just hold on a little bit longer. What you're going through is exactly what's needed to find a new way, to find a new solution, to come out on the other side. Hmm. I feel this deeply em- empathic energy right now. One thing that I've learned from practicing my trance channeling in private, I've been connecting with a number of different beings. And I was speaking to my partner who has been a part of this experience with me. And he brought up how diverse the energies are. And we often think of our guides, whether it's angels or maybe you're like me and into the galactic thing. We think of them often as over us, like they've got it all figured out. But what's interesting is it's not that simple. And a lot of times we're having a very unique experience. What we are able to experience emotionally, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, the magic, the challenge on this planet. I just feel so much heart energy right now from them as they're just feeling in. It's impressive. And many haven't had the experiences and the consciousness evolving in this way in which we have here on this planet. And I think that I'm hearing actually, and that is why we are your guides. We not there to instruct you, but to support, to walk through with you, to witness, to learn by you. Just as they add in different ways to our understanding of cosmic law and vibration and energy and the many different interventions that have happened over time through channelers and speakers and visions and dreams. We too are a part of their experience. Wow. Whew, I feel like I'm just taking a moment to feel into that. That's so different. So different than what some of the information out there feels like, or the things we say to ourselves. I feel like they're concluding with, so this week, try to breathe into the disruption. Try to breathe into the disruption. It doesn't mean you're not supported. It doesn't mean you're out of alignment. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It's just stretching you. It's stretching you for new growth. It's stretching you for new ways of thinking. It's stretching you by inspiring that rebellious spirit that says, I'm going to do it differently than I've ever done it before, than anyone else has ever done it before. And that is what's going to bring the change into the world. That is what is going to cause the forward momentum that is going to propel us into new states of consciousness and ways of being. Thank you. I'm just saying thank you so much to the Andromedans. Thank you for sharing this beautiful energy tonight. And thank you so much for watching and being a part of this with me. It means so much. Every view, every person, every comment that I receive, every email I've received, where it helps everyone feel a little less alone. And it's challenging, but there are others out there going through very similar experiences. And I'm looking forward to all the ways in which we are uniting and coming together and supporting one another. So thank you for watching as you've supported me on this journey. Every like and comment, everything I appreciate. So thank you so much. And if you are curious to really dive into, like I talked tonight about Pluto and that personal power, this is a big passion of mine. And I love reading for my clients and them discovering the rich journey their soul has been, the rich heritage that they have, loaded with gifts and abilities and things that they can say, oh my gosh, Cassandra, I can't believe you said that. I've always felt like I could fill in the blank. And just then see that energy magnify and take off, because it feels held and seen. And we relax into our knowing and understanding of who we are. And we come forward with more confidence, more support, more all those beautiful things. Excitement, more excitement for the journey. I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for watching. I will leave the link if you want to pull your own galactic astrology chart. You can actually see if you have connections to the Arcturians that came through tonight. And if you would like to book a session with me and dive deeper, that's awesome. I've also kind of stretched myself a little bit and added a buy me coffee to my videos if you feel like this is hit you in some way, resonated in some way. I invite you to check that out. And until next week, have a magical week. Hang in there on the 26th and 27th, back to back. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.